Every young child gets born after 9 months of confinement, but I was born on my 11th. And when children of my age began to read and write, I was just learning how to crawl and could barely stand. And when it was time for me to finally get to college, I couldn't make it until after several attempts. Died and then buried to be forgotten. The rays of the sun melted the soil above it. The heat was so intense it began to decay, never to rise again. But suddenly came the rain, falling on the ground and streaming through the soil. The once dead seed jolted at the touch of the rain, and then gradually began to spring forth, finding its way through the soil. At that moment, even the heart couldn't hold it back, that it had to pave way for the once dead seed coming with all its mightiness. The seed began to blossom into a very little flower that was now becoming a very mighty tree. And though this once dead seed has now become a tree, was still being mocked for its lack of fruits. Its leaves would grow and wither and fall to the ground year after year with no fruits to call its own. And then, when the time was right, this once desolated tree began to produce numerous fruits with multiple purposes. For me, life had been pretty difficult, and every door seemed to be sealed with their keys lost. No matter how hard I tried to meet up, I always ended up falling, broken, and dejected, only to drag myself up again, thereby starting all over. Sad, but it's true. Every child that was born the same moment I was, are now far ahead, traveling from countries to countries, living their dream lives. Just yesterday, my friend got a private jet while I was at the pond trying to catch some fish. If not, hunger will come knocking at my door or even knocking me out of existence. I don't get how the young lady down street I scolded a few years back from being naughty and had no focus and goals now has her own company, husband, and 2 kids. She had always looked up to me as a role model, but now she looks down on me as a pathetic and confused loser. I watched other people take many giant steps, but couldn't get my eyes off the achievements they have made in such a short moment. And there I am, with no clue of what my next step would be. Just as a dead seed in the soil, I have been buried. I just don't know when the rain would fall and I would begin to blossom. But one thing is for sure, as long as there would always be a raining season, there would also be a season for me to reign. Time is not certain, but certainly the time will come. I also know that though the winter is long, but even richer the harvest it brings. And though my waiting prolongs, even greater the promises for me. Life is made of many seasons, and until I am done with one, I might not move to another. But seasons are also in cycles. The fact that the rainy season for this period is over doesn't mean there would be another dry or rainy season in another cycle. Confusing, but it is what it is. Every season has a time attached to it. Time manifests itself in season, and each season comes with its own benefits. Everything that subsists in this planet was brought into existence for a purpose, and that purpose has a season attached to it. Though you cannot change the season by yourself, but you can be hurriedly put out of your season by all pressures and worries of life, and the life's lesson and purpose for that season can be thwarted. Although that could be fine, but the danger would be you bearing a different fruit you weren't made for, and you begin to live in someone else's purpose. If only you knew that, like a frost on a rose, winter comes for us all, so that nature could acquaint us with the nature of patience. And like a seed in the snow, we've all been buried to grow, from seed to sequoia. One thing I know of harvest is that it would be worth all the patience. And if God is not done working, then I am absolutely not done waiting. Even though He could have just spoken and commanded the universe with His words to save us from destruction, instead, He sent a child. He could have sent a giant or an angel or even a ready-made man, but a child was completely out of the equation. And just as the moon has been appointed for the season, the sun itself knows the exact time of its setting. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. David went from being a shepherd boy to being king. I would say from field to palace. And Esther went from being a slave girl into queen. Joseph went from pit to palace. Then suddenly, a very old woman tapped me from the back and she said, "I have watched you all these years and I really admire you. And if I could just be as half as you, then I would rest in peace. But sadly, I cannot be like you any longer because I am now old and gray." Hot tears rolling out of my face, though I am truly in my dry season, but to someone else that was actually what they wished their rainy season would be. While I was looking up there and comparing myself with other people who had gone far ahead, someone was just behind me, wishing to be like me and just wanting half of the life I have. And truly, until patience and contentment is achieved, the dry season is not yet over. This is a season for me to live, absolutely not permanent, but I will bask in it while it lasts. So, don't hurriedly rush me out of my dry season because of your insecurity about my own future. It is my future after all. Instead, let us all face our own personal season because even you ain't there yet. Enjoy all the moments and learn all there is while you wait patiently, for your season will definitely come. There is nothing to fear when your future is in God's hands. He has said it and it will come to pass. Though it tarries, my season will surely come. There is a set time for everything. A time to plant and a time to harvest. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to cry and a time to laugh. A time to wait and a time to overtake. Delay is not denial, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come, for it makes everything beautiful in its time. Lord, I lay it down, cause it's my season. I don't see no equal. I gotta do it right now, cause they won't promise me a sequel. So put my jersey in the rafters. I said that it's my season. You better pray that yours come after. Welcome to my season.